The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors. Lighting for ECAT production provided by the Avery Lee Williams Family Foundation.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harris and Young. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harris and Young on this very rainy day up here in New England. We're going down to my birth state of North Carolina with a returning guest from last year, Christopher Micheal. He's a comic strip writer. He's accomplished some new stuff, grew some facial hair since I last interviewed him about a year ago. But before I get to him, got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So we have the Boston Auto Group in North Easton. We have Bogies Indoor Golf in Norton, virtual courses, driving range, golf leagues, private tee times, private lessons, memberships, parties and events, food and beverage. We have Pals Driving School in Middleborough setting up classes for July and August. We've got to check that website. We have Grip It and Rip It, trading cards and video games in West Bridgewater. We have the Mansfield Boxing Club in Norton. We have New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have Vineyard Farm in West Bridgewater. We have Flex Jamaican Cuisine, delicious Jamaican cuisine in downtown Brockton. We have Carver Jewelers Incorporated, Ronald R. and Lyle A. Delano Goldsmiths in Carver on Route 58. We have Lynch's Towing Auto Cycle and Truck Center in Brockton, one number for towing, one number for projects. My pal Lynchy is always in search of new scrap metal, wheels, anything to do with transportation. He handles it all in Brockton. We have One Good Credit in Brockton. We have Madigan Land Surveying in Middleborough. We have KC Dance Expressions in Raynham. We have Brian's Barbershop in Kingston. We have Good Old Dave's Automotive in Hanson on Route 58. We have Bay Street Vape and Smoke in Taunton. We have Glow Tanning Center in Taunton. We have Diesel Plus Unlimited in Whitman. We have the Jewelry Salon in Southeastern. We have Tom Auto in Middleborough. We have the Riverside Cafe in Wareham. Open 6 days a week, all except Wednesdays, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. They make the best breakfast from Boston to the Cape, and they have DoorDash delivery. We have Curtis Car Care in Middleborough. We have Wicked, Peaceful Mind, Body, and Soul in Plainville. We have Countertops Express in North Attleboro, experts in the installation and removal of quartz and granite. We have RW Carpet and Flooring in Norton, covering floors for 50 years. We have Hartley's Jamaican Restaurant, delicious Jamaican food, also in downtown Brockton on the north side. We have D&S Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington on Route 58. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Grant's Rental in Bridgewater. We have Doggy Boutique, all beat professional grooming for dogs and cats, run by my great next-door neighbor, Debbie Siddell in Brockton. We have Haven Psychiatric Services right here in the building in room 211. We have Eli's Auto Care in Taunton. We have Evan Young Realty. That's my brother, the realtor. And we have Joe's Diner in Taunton. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now, returning guest Christopher Micheal, how you doing? You're in your office there, I guess. And looks like you got some food on the side, something to eat.
Yeah, I haven't eaten yet today. So I just came home and I took my kid to get her license this morning. And we were in the DMV for 5.5 hours.
You were in the BMV? What did you get your license for?
Well, she got a permit, so she just turned 15, and she's getting her permit right now. And,
you're talking about your daughter, right?
yeah, so I haven't been home. I literally got home just in time to jump on this thing.
Well, she's 15, and wait a minute, they allow. Oh, you can be 15 and have a permit in North Carolina, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Because here you got to be 16 and a half.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know. The states it's different. Okay, well, good luck to her with that. That's great. Okay, so. All right, so now last year when we had you on, you had some pretty sweet comic strips. You have tell me about now. I recall you had some kind of an ongoing series, right?
Yes.
All right, talk about that and tell us where you've gone with it since then.
So last time it was issue 7. That was called Robo Renaissance.
Okay.
And the team was taking on a new threat known as the Goblin King.
Okay.
And so we finished that issue. That one shipped earlier this year, and now we have the title "He Who Would Be King." It's on Kickstarter right now. It ends next Friday.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So where are you promoting these comic strips? Are they online? Are you? Now, I think I asked you last year if you do any if you have any live, if you have like animated strips that you post on YouTube. Have you done that?
I have some animation done from a video game we're working on, but I don't have an animated series now.
Okay, talk about that video game. What's that?
So for the last about year and a half, we've been working on a fighting game that includes my characters.
Okay.
It also includes a lot of other indie comic characters in it, but that probably has about another year on it before we have any playable demos to it, because building the characters from the ground up is quite tasking.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay, now have you how far have you gone with marketing that game so far?
Well, the game is very limited right now because we don't have a lot of footage, so it's just kind of putting some of that stuff into my trailers for the Kickstarter. So most of my promotion for the comic that's on Kickstarter has just been show after show. Like today, I'm on 5 shows. Tomorrow, I'm on 3. Saturday, I have another 4. So it's just the road show that is promoting a Kickstarter.
Okay. Okay. So how much have you what have you added any new characters to the series since last year, since we did the last interview?
Yes, we're adding King Arthur into the series with this issue that's on Kickstarter right now.
King Arthur. Okay, so you're basically going back into the Middle Ages of ancient England, right?
Kind of, yeah. He's the first superhero in our universe. So it brings in his story and kind of his background and some of the mythos around him.
Okay. Did you have to tell me about the research you did to compile this stuff, this information that enables you to create this?
So everything that we do, and like the entire comic, is actually written using a modern version of Dungeons and Dragons. So this character is ripped straight from Dungeons and Dragons. I just changed some of his influence. So he's heavily influenced by King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, a cartoon that I watched when I was a kid. So he's not the same King Arthur that we know from lore. He's pulled from time and placed in our universe, but he's not like of our space. No.
Okay. Is he good or evil? Good or evil?
You're gonna have to figure that part out.
Oh, okay, I see. All right. Well, that's true. No, I mean that's good. If you want people to figure out what's going on. All right. Okay. So tell me about how do you get these Kickstarters going? Who do you reach out? How do you reach out to people on social media? You do it in person as well?
Yeah, we do every Kickstarter. I do a live launch. This one funded in 45 minutes, and we're almost 200% funded now. So it's just been getting everybody on social media, the big push of Instagram posts and shows and Instagram shows, just constantly getting in people's face and letting them know to go and check it out. I've been to a couple comic book stores and done some events to raise some awareness, and I've done 2 cons while this one's been going. So
okay, so you have the stuff in stores too. Okay, about how many stores?
So right now, I've just my local stores, but in July of this year, we signed with a new distribution company, Filbo Distribution, who has like Zenoscope. A bunch of big names are on his distribution company now, and we'll be launching that in July. Those books will ship in October, and then he has a list. I think it's close to 1,600 stores. So
wow, nationwide, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Nationwide.
Now I'm looking at that screen over your left. I guess it's your left shoulder. What is all that over there behind you? That.
Oh, I'm updating my Warhammer game.
You're updating your. No, I'm talking about the screen. What's on the screen over the?
Oh yeah, this is Warhammer. It's a video game.
Okay.
And they had a update patch I had to download, and if I don't do it now, it won't get done. And then when my friends ask me to play, I'll be late to the game because my game's not updated and theirs is.
Well, let me ask you this: so that's your video game right behind you, right?
No. This is just a game that I play.
Oh, it's a game that you play, but you don't have your own game right now. What I was going
Not
to
yet.
say was, if you did, you might be able to give us a demonstration, but you can't do
Oh
that,
yeah,
right?
I'd love to, but no, we don't have a
You
playable
don't have
version.
okay. You don't have it up going yet. Well,
Nope.
but the one behind you was that any inspiration of what you got going now?
Yeah, yeah. Some of the stuff we do is heavily inspired by Warhammer.
Okay. Yeah. Now, okay. Now, as I recall, you weren't born and raised in North Carolina. You moved up there from like New York or something like or Delaware or somewhere, right?
Connecticut. Yep,
Connecticut.
I'm from
Yeah,
Connecticut.
you were in New England before because you don't have any
Mhm.
trace of a drawl. That, right.
Nope. I
Okay.
was
Well,
born and raised in Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay. Whereabouts in Connecticut?
Um, Clinton, Connecticut. It's about 20 minutes north of New Haven.
Okay, I got you. It's sort of south central Connecticut.
Right.
Not too far from the New York state line. All right, well, now remind me again why you moved to North Carolina and when you did.
So I moved here in 2004.
Okay, 21
I
years
moved
ago.
here. Yep. I moved because I was, looking to get signed by a record label down here. And so
That's
I
right,
was
you
a
were a
professional
musician too.
musician.
Now I remember.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Played music professionally for about 6 years.
Yeah, and you told me a story that you and a bunch of guys were in some kind of you were in a van and you ended up you were in some kind of trouble.
Oh, yeah. When you tour for as long as I did, there was a lot of trouble. Yeah.
Well, whatever
So
happened with that? That you were lucky. You could have been. You met some pretty bad characters. Have you right? Isn't that what happened?
yeah, we met a guy who invited us back to his place. Rolled up, found out his wife had been chained to a bed, so we like rolled out of there real quick, and then called the cops immediately. We had one where we went, and it was a very inappropriate party that we had to leave. We were in, I got held at gunpoint once just in the middle of New York City. That's just a few things, when you tour, like I said, when you're touring for the better part of 6 years, it's you're always in a different place. You have to trust people that you've never met before, and it's tough.
Yeah, that's right. How many in the band were you? How many in your band were there? Were there?
5 of us.
Okay. Now you're not still active as a band now, right? Or are
No.
you? Okay.
No.
All right. I thought of something just now. What about the idea of taking some of those experiences and turning it into one of your comic strips? Have you ever done that or thought of it?
Well, I've been working on a book, an actual story of everything I've been through, because by the time I was 6 years old, I'd been pronounced dead 3 times. I've been hit by a car. I've been told I had 3 days to live a few years ago. I've had my liver and kidneys shut down on me twice. So
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, look, talk about. I don't think we covered that the last time. Tell me about what it was like when you were on the brink of, you were at death's door. What was it like, if you don't mind my asking? Because I like to cover new stuff when I have a returning guest, if it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, at 6 years old.
Yeah, you were 6. Wow.
It kind of changes like your perspective on life, to be honest with you.
Of course.
At 6 and being told, hey, you've been dead 3 times. It just kind of makes you look at life a little differently as you grow up. Like I spent most of my life just doing everything I possibly could. Like if I wanted to do it, I did it because I'm lucky to still be here.
Yeah.
And it's dark. You just have a different mentality about even the idea of dying. When, in 2015, when the doctor told me, you have 3 days to live. It didn't really faze me. I was like, okay, I guess it's my time. I did a lot of things that I wanted to do in life. I wrote everything down that I had ever wanted to do. And there was, one thing, and I just wanted to go to Italy. That was it. Everything else I had kind of done. So I couldn't, I wasn't afraid. If I got a call today saying, hey, you're going to die tomorrow, I guess I'd just be like, well, that sucks. There's not this fear, I guess. A lot of people are afraid of that stuff.
Yeah, well, so you're saying this, this is 10 years ago, 2015, you were told you were going to die in 3 days?
Yeah. My liver and kidneys were shutting down. My blood was 3 times thicker than it should have been. My resting heart rate was 120.
Wow. Well, what finally happened? I mean, you look great now. Obviously, whatever happened, you pull through, and you know the old saying, it's not just a cliche. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, which I would say is the truth
Yeah.
for you.
Well, they pumped 20 bags of fluid through my body, flushed my whole system, and I've been on a heavy dose of potassium since, because I don't produce potassium naturally, so I get dehydrated very easily, and if I get too dehydrated, I can, have a bad reaction. So that was really what caused it. Was I was doing bodybuilding competitions and I overdid it, and I did 6 like back to back to back and just shut my whole system down. And so I didn't work out for a whole year. It was about 3 years until I was back to normal. But you know,
Wow.
uh,
Huh.
took a
Oh,
lot
I don't
of
think we covered that the last time. That's amazing. But how do you feel today?
good. I feel really good. I work out.
Yeah.
I stay in shape,
You,
and I live a pretty healthy life. Um, I, just being able to do things is nice. But like I said, uh, I get fatigued easier than most just from the toll that took on my body. Um, there is some like residual side effects that I still have and I'll have forever, but nothing that keeps me from doing what I like to do.
wow. Okay. But yeah, I mean, you're pretty much freed up to come and go as you please, right? You're not,
No,
okay.
yeah. The only thing I have to do is make sure I, eat a banana here and there, some spinach, take some potassium supplements, and don't drink a lot of alcohol.
So basically, this was something you kind of brought on yourself by drinking too much. Is that kind of what you think?
No, no. So when you're doing, bodybuilding shows, you drink a lot of water and then you dehydrate, and you dehydrate like a lot. That's how
Right.
you get as that very thin skin. And then afterwards you rehydrate and then you dehydrate. And when you're doing that for almost 4 months straight, every other week, and most people are okay because your body naturally produces potassium, whereas I don't. So that constant stress on my system just caused my cells to explode.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. That's fascinating. So, yeah, so that's now you're doing a book on that, right? And you're sort of your autobiography in addition to the comic strips.
Yeah, that is not on my top 10 priorities, but it is something every once in a while I'll open up and write a few paragraphs or reread and edit. That's my when I'm retired and have time to sit there and type a book out. I'll do that.
Well, as I recall, now do you have an illustrator or do you do your own illustrations?
I do all my own illustrations. I have a colorist,
Okay.
but I
Yeah.
do color some of my books.
Okay. Well, I was thinking, yeah, just that story alone could make a great comic strip. It's kind of dark, but it could be something that would get a lot of attention and a lot of reads. I would think I would read it
That's a
instead of having. I know what I'm saying. Instead of doing it in a narrative, do it as a comic strip. Just do your own. I've seen people do that. Look at Ziggy. Ziggy, ever see Ziggy?
yeah.
Ziggy was a self. He kind of like pokes fun at himself, basically. I know it's kind of hard to poke fun at something like that, but it might be. But I think I'm telling you, I think it would absolutely floor people in a good, in a very profitable way for you.
I wouldn't be against it, but I definitely want to get through my stuff. I have 42 issues.
Oh
of
yeah,
my
yeah. You got to
current
do your other
I want
stuff
to
too.
do.
Obviously, I'm just talking
I
about the
get.
side thing.
I'm not good at being the center of the spotlight. So
Okay.
yeah. I don't mind writing the book, but I don't know if I'd ever want like to be drawn. Like even in my book, I don't have myself in there because it's not I don't know. I've never been one for like wanting the spotlight on me. Although I wouldn't be against doing a comic about some of that stuff. I think it'd be interesting.
Okay, it would be absolutely. So now let me see if I'm pretty sure I usually ask everybody this. Did you go to college, and if so, where, and what did you major in?
Yeah, I actually went to school. I majored in communications and visual communications with a minor.
Where?
Uh, it was just a online school through Charlotte, North Carolina. So I
Oh,
just did a bunch of online classes through some different universities that they let me choose from.
Okay. All right. Now, what part of North Carolina you not in, you wouldn't happen to be in Fayetteville, right? Or are you near there?
No, I'm in High Point right now. I bounce between High Point and Winston.
Okay. All right. So how now? So going back to the present time, you got your Kickstarter going. Do you spend your you have like the 9 to 5 thing doing doing more drawing and working for the comic strip, or do you do other things too? Just want to find out.
Well, I work in taxes.
Okay.
So
Well, that
right
tax
now
season's over though.
exactly. So now
Okay.
I have free time to do as I wish.
Right. Okay. That's cool. Now, does your wife work too? Didn't you tell me, isn't she part of your deal? I think I saw her in the last show. I think she was like walking around in the back. Fuck.
Yeah, we've since gotten divorced. So that's why I'm in a new space.
What's that?
We got divorced. So that's why I'm in a new space.
Oh, I didn't know. That was since the last show.
Yes.
Oh, man. Huh.
We were kind of separated at that point, trying to figure stuff out, and then we're just better off as friends. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, whatever works. I mean, I don't want to get too personal, but it just seemed, I remember that show because I remember as I recall, she walked in and waved or something. And I said, oh, there's you.
Yeah.
Okay. That was, well, I mean.
We're still friends.
Oh, yeah,
actually,
of course.
I just saw her this afternoon. Like I said, took my daughter to get her permit.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I have a girlfriend now, and they both get along very well, which
Sweet.
is nice. So, you know, it's a good situation. You know, we both were just kind of at that point where like, hey, I think we're better as friends. She agreed. Well, actually, more her idea. And we just, instead of making it ugly, you know, sometimes things just don't work out.
Oh, yeah, I understand. I know how it was. I had a girlfriend many years ago. And you're a young guy. You're only what? You're like 42?
Yep.
I nailed it. I remember now. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Now you say you work out every day too, right? Still?
Yeah.
You look very athletic. And now, were you ever did you do sports in school or music? I know you did music. Did you do sports as well?
Yeah. Football, soccer, baseball, wrestling. Wrestling was my favorite sport.
Oh, okay. Do you do any of that today?
No, I once in a while I'll spar with a friend of mine,
Okay.
or I have done like a couple jujitsu classes, things like that, but I just don't have as much time as I'd like to do that stuff, you know?
Of course, you're right. Obviously, with the work that you're doing. Okay. So, do you have an agent? I think we covered this the last time. You just basically represent yourself.
Yeah. You know, Jeff does some work with Homebrewed Comics. He gets a lot of us onto different shows.
You're talking about Jeff, right? Who
Yeah.
set this interview up. Okay.
Yep.
So he's kind of your agent. He's basically right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I guess that would make sense. All right. And so when you branch out, you're gonna go all over. You have people all over the country that you're gonna be sending your stuff to. Do you just say I have something here that you might like? How do you reach your demographics of people that you think might enjoy this comic strip, or do you just post it online and just see where the reels take you?
A lot of it is Comic-Cons. We do really well at Comic-Cons.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yep. And then we've also got, you know, the website. We get a lot of orders off our website, and you know, the Kickstarters definitely help. That helps build a lot of our fan base.
Okay. All right. So the Comic-Cons are great because you can probably meet a lot of big people, a lot of big celebrities do Comic-Cons, right?
Yes. Yep.
And I'm sure that, all you got to do now is find someone, if you ever want to do like a film about based on your comic strips, you can go to a Comic-Con and see if you could get these people to act in the film. I mean, I'm thinking at some point you might want to try that.
I've talked to a few people. You know, it's a very costly adventure to get into animation. So it's going to be a bit until I can get there, but that's on my list of to-dos, is to get some, animation done, some real true, animation for Crit. I mean, it's written in a way that would translate very easily into the animated field.
Okay, I understand. And at some point, maybe you'd like to, just get some better actors to possibly portray, real, like a lot of the comic strips go real life, like Spider-Man did, Batman did. So on that note, Chris, we're under the final 5 minutes of the show. I hope you had fun talking to me. Like you did the last time when we did the show.
Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
Okay, so what I want you to do is just like the last time, just look at your phone, whatever. give shouts out to people that are going to see the show. A lot of people are, and then we'll wrap it up with my snap and the way we began it.
Cool. First, I want to shout out Jeff for helping me get on here, and then the rest of my crew at Homebrewed Comics. I got Dan, Drew, and Dennis. We're all on Kickstarter this year. We've got, my book Crit on Kickstarter right now. We've got Bigfoot Knows Karate running side by side, and then in June we're launching Celestial Knight versus Caspian Porter. So go to homebrewedcomics.com and check us out.
Okay, and just so you know, if any of these people, might be good guests for my show, have them reach out to me. Have them go through Jeff or whatever, however that works, because he does get me a lot of homebrew comic people.
Yeah, you probably have Dan. I know we're working right now on getting the other guys, so I'll let Jeff know to reach out to you and get them booked.
Okay. Now, before we wrap the show up, I want to know too: is there anything coming up on the horizon that you want to mention that you don't want to overlook? If not, that's fine. But I like to just make sure we cover everything.
Just the 3 Kickstarters right now, and then the big push is at the end of the year we're going to be in stores through Philbo distribution. So if you are a comic book store and you're looking at getting some up and coming product, definitely hit us up. There's, like I said, there's some big names on there. I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not to as far as who's on there. I do know Zenoscope is one I can say has signed on and will be working with us. It's just philbodistribution.com, and everyone can sign up, and or they can reach out to us via Homebrewed Comics. I have a lot of the information as well. But that's the big thing is fourth quarter, we're making just a really big push for retail. So we're taking a break from Kickstarter and everything else and just making sure that our retail launch kicks off properly.
Okay, that's fantastic. So that's nice that you're using my show as a platform to get to some of those comic distributors. Would you ever think of possibly starting your own comic distribution shop somewhere?
Thought about it. I worked in distribution for a long time. And honestly, if Phil hadn't started doing what he's doing, it was going to be something down the pipeline that I started myself because I have a lot of contacts and I have a lot of background in it. But I trust Phil and his company, and they've got a lot of stuff that a lot of ground has already been broken through them. So I would rather partner with someone who's actively just focused on distribution. That way I can focus on the publishing side, because this year, I did take on 4 new titles. I'm publishing Bigfoot Knows Karate. I'm publishing Crit. I'm publishing Celestial Knight, Caspian Porter, and a book called Tin Can. And we're on Amazon. We're on everywhere right now, Barnes and Noble, and then, comic book stores come the end of the year. So that's a big thing by itself. So taking on, distribution on top of that, I think would be a little bit too much for me right now. But like I said, if we ever wanted to grow, it's not something I would be against getting into. But I do think Phil's got something awesome, and I can't wait to see where this takes us.
Okay, well, you did a great job, Chris, and we're going to wrap the show up. Now, when we're done, will you stick around, and my tech guy, Adam, will take pics for Facebook, and I don't know if I can tag you, but I'll pop it on Facebook.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to send Jeffrey the email address that you're going to send the pics to, so we can add it into the show.
Cool.
Then we'll find the spot for them. We'll make them look good. My staff is second to none too over here at ECAT. All right, great job, Chris. Okay, folks, we're wrapping up another great Topic Time interview. Coming up more next week. I have a beautiful guest from somewhere in Missouri, I believe. We'll talk about that then. So in the meantime, we're wrapping up another great show here. There we go. Hopefully. Come on, Boombox. There we go.
Lighting for ECAT production provided by the Avery Lee Williams Family Foundation.